Hello, and welcome to this recorded seminar for Marketing 2333 Principles of Selling. This video is divided into three main parts: getting your resources, putting it in your MLA paper, and getting help from the library anytime you need it. So let's go ahead and begin. From the main CTC website, if you come here to Academics, and then under Library, click on Databases. This will take you to the spot where you're going to find most of your information. Will be through the Databases page. One of the best places to start is with the Business and Economics subject area. And a very good one to use is the Business Entrepreneurship database. Just click on the database name. The first time you log on to the databases, you'll be asked to put in your username and password. Your username will be the standard lowercase c followed by the first 7 digits of your CTC ID number. Your password will be your first and last initials, followed by your 6-digit birth date. That's 2-digit month, 2-digit day, the last 2 digits of your birth year. Once those are entered, you just click on Log In. Now, this particular database does have some topics of interest that you can browse, and it also has some subjects that you might want to look at as far as jump-starting your search. If you're not sure of what kind of topics or you don't see what you're looking for, since this is dealing with the principles of selling, we're going to just type in the word selling. It's very broad, but what you'll see are some type of heads like selling and marketing your business. This is something that you may want to look at. You may also want to look at selling as a topic, or maybe the principles of selling might be like value or salesmanship, that sort of thing. But we're just going to stick with selling to see what we get. Now, you'll notice that there are some content types. There are business plans, newspaper articles, recommended resources, videos, directories, audio files, magazines and journals, and websites. Any of those will give you good information. Now, this is something that's a bit broad. As you can see, there are a lot of articles here. There's like over 100,000 magazine and journal articles. If you want to narrow it down to just selling, you can come here to where it says subjects, and you can either look through this entire list, or you can type in your subject here as selling, and you'll notice that it comes up automatically, and that brings it down. You can also limit by publication date. By that, you just type in a date range. If you want, say, maybe the last 5 or 10 years, depending on what your professor has said. Or you can have like the last week, last month, or the last year. These are presets. But you can actually type in a date range of, say, 2022. Oops, it would help if I typed that in right. 2020. Hang on a minute. This is still, there we go. We'll make it a 5-year range. And then over here in the to box, if you just click on the icon and then the date and tell it to apply. And you'll notice this brings us down to a lot fewer resources. If I come to where it says magazines and journals, I have 59 items. If I'm looking for something to search within, I can click on the search within box, and I can tell it maybe principles, and you'll see there's my type ahead. I just click on submit, and I've got one article here that allows me to match those two keywords to my search results. This is in something, it's a Travel Age West. This is what's known as a trade publication. Trade publications are written by people in the industry for people in the industry. So this is something a travel agent might read, and this will tell you the number of words. Now, if you see something over here that says peer reviewed, this is an academic journal article. Now, some of what you can do with this particular item is if you click on the article title, this brings up some information. There's the author's name. Up here where it says cite, you can click on that and get the source citation. And then you just tell it to select, do a right mouse click and copy, and then bring up a Microsoft Word document and then just paste that in. And if you change it over to the middle function where it says merge formatting, this will keep the italicizing that's in here. And we'll correct this a little later on in this seminar. Okay, so I do have an item. Now, what I can do, some of the other features that you'll see here, this particular icon allows you to translate the article into one of 25 or so languages. These next two items allow you to decrease or increase the size of the font to make it easier for you to read. The one with the capital A, lowercase a, is for those people with reading disabilities. A white background can sometimes be very hard on the eyes. So if you click on this, you can actually change the background to a sort of a light gray, a peach color, or green. You can also change the font or the line, letter, and word spacing. And when you're done, you just click on done. The next icon over is a listen feature. And what the listen feature allows you to do is to read it while it's being read to you. And as it does, it will highlight the words and phrases as it goes along. It'll take a few minutes to buffer.
Money matters. Understanding financial basics is essential to success for travel advisors.
The three lines that you see over here on the left allow you to download the article as an MP3 file to your computer or your electronic device. Then if I close this, and then over here on the right, you'll see where you have the ability to upload the article to Google Drive or OneDrive. Just make sure that you are in your Google or OneDrive account before you upload it. Otherwise, it goes to the library. You can also email the item to yourself, or you can download it directly to your computer, and it will look kind of like this when you download it. Um, you can also print it out to your computer. Now, on the right, you'll see where it says explore more like this. If this particular article is something that you think is useful, you can click on these items here, or you can see related subjects over here. Now, there is a nice little feature that you may want to be aware of, and that is the highlight and notes feature. If you go and highlight, let's say you find something very interesting in this paragraph here, what you are able to do is you can choose what highlighter pen you want, and then you can add a note. Now, a very good suggestion to do if you are taking notes is up here you'll see where there's an author's name. And so what you're able to do is you can do your in-text citation right with it and tell it to save. Now, if I go back to the results list and take off maybe this particular item here, the principles, I'm going to find another item here like sales bots. This may be something that you might find of interest. This again is in a trade magazine, Business Matters. And I'm just going to bring this up and I'm just going to highlight this particular paragraph here. And now this one does not have an author to it. So what I can do is I can change my color and I'm making this um, an in-text citation for the article title, which is, I believe, sales bots. And so all I need to do is type in the first word of the title and tell it to save. Now I've made this a different color, and here's what this does for me. Oops. Okay. When I come up to the highlights and notes field, I have this little item up here. And then when I click on the view all highlights and notes, here are my copied items. And in my notes, you'll notice I have something in parentheses. These are my in-text citations. So all I need to do if I'm wanting these particular items is I can highlight them, copy them, and then bring up my paper. And then up here, I can put them in and have them all ready to go. And then it's just a matter of doing a little bit of cleanup. And then I can put that here. I can take out the little bubbles. And it also gives me the highlight, the items here. This was just a basic copy and paste. So I can come here and take all of this out. I can remove the bubbles by taking out the bullets, say none, and then push this over to there and pick up this. And what I have now are materials that I can then put like this and say these are my in-text citations. And I have them, and that way I can paraphrase, I can quote, or I can summarize, and I'll have my information right here. Um, so that's what I can do. And then from the source, I can get my source citations. I can come here and get the citation for that and then copy it and paste it in down here, just like that. And I have my source citations that I can then format some more. So that's how you get your information. That's how you get your source citations. And the next part, we'll talk about how to find books, and we'll add that to your listing of items here as well. Okay, we've seen how to get magazine articles from the databases. Now let's go find some books. For that, we want to come here to the catalog. When I click on the catalog button on the library's homepage, that brings up the search page. And if I type in my keyword of selling, you'll notice that I have some type aheads here. So you have like selling to win, selling for dummies, things like that. Again, I'm going to just leave this at selling and then come over here and tell it to search. Okay, this brings up a listing of items. Now, the catalog has some interesting features as well. Like the databases, you can use limiters like format, age, and maybe some keywords. So if I scroll down a little bit, you'll see under format, I have articles and chapters. I have books, I have videos, there are journal magazines, there's a game, and music scores. I can also choose between biography, fiction, nonfiction. Peer reviewed usually will refer to journal literature. I can set by date, or then I can come here to subject. And what I may want is just business. And so what I can do is I can take like business administration, finance, special industries, and what I may want to do is just say select the business and economics button, and that will pick up all of those areas. Now, the catalog does what's called discovery searching. That allows you to find books that are physically in the library. It also gives you access to our ebooks and to magazine articles and videos. In this case here, you'll see that I have Selling to Win. This is an ebook. And if I come down here to where it says View ebook and click on that, since I'm already logged into the databases, this will take me directly to an ebook database. If I was not already in, the login screen would come up and I'd have to log in. Now, ebooks are like regular books. They allow you to, um, uh, they have page numbers, they have the same format. It's just a book in an electronic format. Now, there is a difference between an ebook that you get from a database and an ebook that you get from, say, Kindle or any other ebook reader. There are two separate types of um, source citations. For the database ebooks that you get from the library, it will follow the standard sort of database format for the source citation. And what you can do is right here where it says Cite Book, it defaults automatically to MLA and you'll see it right there. And so what you can do is just do a right mouse click and then come down to your paper and then bring up your works cited and then just right mouse click and copy and paste it in. Again, we'll look at formatting all of this later on. So if I come back and close all of this, now that some of the other features about ebooks. When you're in the ebook, you'll see a table of contents usually. And so you can click on any one of these lavender colored items. You just click on it. And what it will do is it takes you right to that page, but more importantly, it will sometimes allow you to have the ability to search within. And it looks like this particular one here, everything is already highlighted. So these are all hyperlinks. So what you can do is like how to set your goals. That's something that you need to do when you're planning a sales campaign. The type of business that you want. All of these are chapter items. You can also come here and show key takeaways from this chapter. And so it gives you some key items here. If I go and click on, um, say, the 6 cylinders of professional selling, and when you take it, it takes you right to it. So you have all of this. Um, you may notice up here that there is a table of contents that will allow you to navigate. And the um, little search icon up here allows you to type in, say, another keyword. So if you wanted something about the principles of selling, this will tell you where it found that particular item and how many times it found that keyword. You can then come to any of these items here. If you click on the little triangle, it will expand out so you can see exactly where those are. And then you just click on the particular item that you're wanting, and then you've got like principles of negotiation. And so this may be something that you want. You have the ability to increase or decrease your font size so that it's easier to read. Um, and then over here, you have like tabs from other devices. So these are things that you might want to explore. This is a new format for this particular ebook. And so what you can do is you are able to come down here and let's say I wanted this particular paragraph right there. There are some icons down here. This is your copy and paste item where it will actually create an electronic note card with the full source citation. You can print it to a PDF file. You can download it. This is the source citation. This is where if you wanted to add a note, let's say you downloaded the book and you want to add notes to it, and then you also have the ability to bookmark it. It also tells you what pages you're looking at. This is at the page of 131 going on to 132. So what you're able to do here is, again, you have the highlighters and you can click on that item there and it will give you that information there. And then right here is the source citation. So it keeps everything together. So if you wanted to do something like this, what you could do is, this is looking like it's page 132, is you can actually put in here at this stage is parentheses and maybe Denny, and then this is 132, and then you have that. And then what you just take all of this and then copy it and then bring it into your paper. And then what you can do is just paste it right in. Again, this is something that you have the ability to do, and that way it keeps anything that you're quoting, paraphrasing, or summarizing together with the particular source and where you got that from. You'll notice that this has a page number where our previous ones did not. That is because there was not a page number for that. And MLA says if there is not a page number, do not supply other information for your in-text citation. If there is a page number on the source, then you do provide that. Since I have this information already, I can delete it. If I didn't, then I would put that into my source citation. Okay, now that's an ebook. And it looks like they've upgraded their stuff. If I just want print books, I can come here and click on the print book feature. And you'll notice for print books, I have a cite icon here. For print books only, use the cite feature. And what you'll do is choose the citation style, and then you can just copy that information into your document. Again, this goes into the works cited like that. You'll notice that the title of the book is italicized. Everything about it is italicized that needs to be italicized. Okay, so if I come back here, I can see the author title, when it was published, the call number. Now, the nice thing about our library is we use Library of Congress. This particular call number system is used in the majority of academic libraries throughout the country. If I want to know more about this particular book, I can click on the title. This brings up the detailed record for the book. This will give me, in some cases, not always, but it'll give me the table of contents, and it will tell me what it is that is in there. It also gives me the subjects. Anything in blue is a hot link. If you are not in the Fort Cavazos, soon to be Fort Hood, Killeen area, what you are able to do is where it says other libraries worldwide, you can click on that. And here in this box, you can put in your city, state, zip code, country. If I were to say London in in the UK, and tell it to change location, you'll see that the closest library to London is the University of Gloucester. I can view their catalog. I can come over here and see where they're located. It will give me their address, their phone number, and when they're going to be open. Right now, they're closed. But this is something that you do have access to, so that if you are needing to find a book and you find it in our catalog, this is a tool you can use to very quickly and easily find maybe a library that's nearby. If you're within the United States, there's also something called interlibrary loan, where you can go to your closest public library and give them the catalog, print out the catalog record, and ask them if they can get that for you through interlibrary loan. And you can also use this feature to put in and see whether or not there's maybe a library nearby that will take a quicker time to get to you. If I take off the filter for books, I can also come and find maybe other articles or other items. So if I take off the business and economics, I'll find maybe if I click on, say, articles, um, selling passes to strategic customers. This is in something called Operation Research. This might be a an article from a scholarly magazine. But again, you can click here on Access Online, and what it will do is it will take you directly to the article, and you'll be able to get the PDF version of the item. And in some cases, you can actually get the source citation. Now, just keep in mind the source citation where it says cite as may not be in MLA style format. It may be in a different style. So you do have the ability to um, view it online. And what should happen if it is, it will download it as a PDF. And that is how you use the catalog to find items um, that you can use for your research paper. Okay, so far we've seen how to get sources from the databases and from the catalog. Now let's look at the paper itself. You'll notice we have a roughed in paper. We have a quote here that I will highlight in yellow. We have another quote here from another source that I'll put in green. And then we have a third quote right here, which I will put in blue. Now, when you have quoted material, normally what you want to do is pick out, if you're going to use a direct quote, use the best sentence or two, no more than that, for your direct quote. When you have paragraphs such as these, you're going to want to summarize or paraphrase the information. Whatever you do, though, you need to put an in-text citation after any sentence that contains referenced information. That can be in the form of a direct quote. It can be as a paraphrase or as a summary, or if you have statistical information. That information had to have come from a source. The source needs to be included. So in this case here, what you may want to do is you may want to look at maybe they found something here about a study that they did. And so what you can do is just put a quote there, and then at the end of the sentence, put a quote mark. Now, the placement of in-text citations is after the quote mark and before the period. So in this case, I have a direct quote, and that period then gets moved to after the in-text citation. There's never two periods. You never have um, you don't leave the period there inside the quote mark. It always gets moved to after the in-text citation. In this particular case, I have something of a um, an item here that can be summarized very nicely, that found that I could probably say that um, we're getting for maybe purchases online. Um, let's see. And what you can do is you can actually say maybe for purchases online, it was found that use of technology um, and automation um, generated um, or I could say maybe increased productivity, um, resulting in increased profits and reducing associated costs. And with that, I can then take out all of this information here and then put my in-text citation, after my sentence. And then down here where I have something like this, um, I might want to um, again summarize this. Maybe take out this bit here, and or I can quote it, say, and the thing you want to keep in mind is um, if you have a quote, you want to keep it less than 4 lines in length. So in this case, I'm going to leave this as a quote and just take this out. Now, in-text citations serve as pointers to your works cited. So, what you do is you just have this. Now, let's say these were the beginnings of new paragraphs. What I can do is I can highlight my text and then do a right mouse click, come here to paragraph, and under special, I'll just change this to first line, and that'll put this into the proper style there. Um, you also want to look for any kind of extra spaces or any other uh, information that needs to be fixed. And so anytime you see like the blue squiggles, that's usually an indication of some sort of grammatical issue. A red squiggle is either it's misspelled or it's a word not in your dictionary. So this is how you can get your first lines in. If I come down here to my works cited, what I'll do with these is I'm going to go and first put them in alphabetical order by the author's last name, or by the title of the item if there is not an author. And so I want to make sure that that's there. The other thing I'm going to do is a little bit of cleanup here. For instance, with this article here, um, I don't need an access date because there is a publication date provided. So this access date is not needed. I can get rid of that. The same thing is true here. I have a publication date, and so I can get rid of that. Now, the work cited is in what's called a hanging indented paragraph format. I'll just highlight my information, do a right mouse click, come down here to paragraph, and in the special box, I'll choose hanging. And that will put this into what's known as a hanging indented paragraph format. And you can see where it gets its name from. The first line of each news source is flush with the left margin. Everything that follows after the first line is indented 1/2 inch in. So that takes care of all of that. If I need the items added to the dictionary, then what I do is I just go through and add anything with a red squiggle and add that directly to my um, dictionary. Now, you'll notice that my line spacing here is not double. The font is also not in Times New Roman size 12. The easiest way of doing this is just put your mouse cursor up here at the top, do a Control A. Control A is a keyboard shortcut that allows you to select the entire document. Then do a right mouse click and come here to font. And then where it says font, what you can do is just type in the first few letters of Times New Roman, tell it regular, size 12, and then set that as the default for the document, and then say OK. That should change everything to Times New Roman size 12. The other thing you want is everything should be double spaced. So while this is all highlighted, just come up here and do another right mouse click, and where it says paragraph, say special, I'm sorry, the line spacing where it says multiple, just say double, and then set that as your default. And then that sets everything to double space. Now, occasionally you'll get some stubborn items like this that say, no, I'm not going to do that. When you have something like this, you can actually come up here to the paragraph box and tell it double and get it fixed that way. Um, Again, and then you have this, looks like it also did not want to do a double spacing. And so again, I can come here and put that like that. and that puts this into the double spacing. Now, a word about the date here. This is always in day, month, year order. Um, if it's month day 1 through 9, it's just 1 and then the month, and the month is always spelled out. So, like, if this was, say, the 1st of June, this would be 1 June 2025. There is no leading 0 in front of the 1 for the month. If you have a month like September, you spell out the month. Now, the other thing that a lot of students have issues with is the header. The easiest way of doing the header is to come here to the Insert tab, come to Header, choose the first blank, then come over here to Page Number, top of page, and then the third option. That puts the page number flush at the right margin, and then you just type in your last name and hit the space bar once. And that is all that is required by MLA to be up here in the header. So that is how you format an MLA style paper. What you also want to make sure of is that all works that are listed in your works cited are used or cited in your paper. If they are not cited, let's say you didn't use any referenced material, you read the book, but you didn't use any material from a particular item, then you cannot have that item listed in your works cited. So if there is something listed here, for instance, this book by Chris Anderson, it's not yet cited in the paper. And if I don't cite it, then I need to remove it from my source list. And that's an MLA um, mandate. That is not anything that is peculiar to me. So that is how you format an MLA style paper. Okay, in the first few sections, we saw how to get resources from the library, both from the databases and the catalog. And then we've seen how to format an MLA paper. Now, how to get help from the library. One of the easiest ways of getting help from the library is to come into the building and say, "Hi there, I need help." The people at the front desk have been given basic training to get you started with your research paper. If you need more in-depth help or you have a complex search, there is a reference librarian on duty 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon, all evening long, and on weekends. If a librarian is not on duty during the week, what will happen is one of the front desk staff will go to get a librarian and have them come out to give you assistance. Now, on days that we're closed, or holidays, breaks, or because of weather, you have the ability to use the Ask a Librarian feature. Ask a Librarian allows you to fill in a form, and it can be any kind of a question that you submit. What are the library hours? Where can I buy my textbooks? You're working on a research paper. What databases or keywords can I use? I've got a source citation. How would I cite this properly? And what style you need it cited for? And this is stuff that we can help you with. When you click on submit, it sends us an email. That email is looked at as soon as possible, and during the regular hours when the library is open, your response time could be anywhere from a couple of minutes to a couple of hours. On days that we're closed, there's a person on call, so you do have, for all practical purposes, 24/7, 3 365 assistance electronically through the library. Now, if I come down a little bit, you'll see the contact us here on the right. This gives you our direct email address, reference request at ctcd.edu. It also gives you our local and our toll-free in and out of state telephone numbers. So you can call us. There is an answering machine. Just make sure that you speak clearly and slowly enough that we can write down your information, especially your name and phone number or your email address if you need us to contact you back. Um, then a little bit further down, we do have a live chat and text service. The live chat, you just type in your question here, and within a couple of seconds to a couple of minutes, you should have a response back from a librarian. You can also use your cell phone to send us a text message at 254-400-2275, and we'll respond back with a text message to your phone. The hours of the library are given right here. Any changes will be noted here. For instance, there is a notation that the library will be closed in observance of Juneteenth on Thursday, the 19th, 2025. If I come up a little bit under library resources, there are some video tutorial guides. These are short tutorials that you can watch, say for instance, how to format an APA style paper, an MLA paper. If you need help with searching the library's catalog, there is that as well. And then there are some other videos and tutorials listed down here as well. Coming back to the library's main page, you can also request a seminar or an appointment with a librarian. Um, if you've had a seminar with one of the librarians, say in class or at the library or virtually live, or you've watched the recorded seminars, and it looks easy when you see it, and then comes time to do the actual research yourself. And it's like, wait a minute, I'm completely lost. This is perfectly fine. We understand. You can make an appointment. These appointments run to a maximum of 1 hour in length. It is possible that you may need more than an hour. Um, if so, you may need to make multiple appointments with a librarian. Now, there are three options, no preference. The computer will select whichever librarian is available first. Miss Oser does her appointments only at the library. Miss Handro does in person at the library, over the phone, and via the internet. If you select Miss Handro, what you'll find is the calendar of dates available. Click on a date, click on a time, and then continue. Um, Ms. Handro has three options that you can select from of how you want to have your appointment: in person, by phone. The phone numbers are provided online. A link will be sent to you. You just put in your name and email address and then click confirm appointment. Both you and the librarian selected will get an email confirming the appointment date, time. In this case, there'll be an added note that you want your appointment either by phone or in person or online. If online, then you'll get a meeting link, usually through Blackboard, at the appointed time and date. Um, Click on that link that you'll be sent, and then you'll be connected. We also have a number of research study guides. These are topic pages that you can use to investigate various subjects that are taught by CTC. If you need help, like with a paper, there are guides. For instance, there's one for APA. There is a video on how to format APA citations and the paper. There's also the quick style guide. There is also some charts here that will help you. There's also the APA sample paper. This is a modification of one that was done originally in MLA, but the principles will be there to show you how to handle the in-text citations for various types of material, including video. So you have that. If I come back here and go to MLA, and then click on this one here, you'll see something that's similar in nature. There's the sample paper, written instructions. This particular item here is detailed citation guides, and there is a navigation toolbar that you can click on, usually by clicking on this icon and then that little outline looking icon. And it gives you the ability to scroll up and down through the table of contents. I will mention here there are examples of the differences between an ebook from an ebook reader and one that comes from a database. An ebook reader, say like Kindle or your textbook ebooks, you'll just put in ebook edition as like you would like the 17th edition or revised edition. There is not a URL that goes to that. Then it will also show you how to do the parenthetical and the narrative in-text citations. Narrative in-text citations are when you use the author's name in the body of the sentence. Now, ebooks that come from a database, you will include the database name and the URL. These would be if you're using things from our eBook Central or our EBSCO ebook databases. So you do have those. There is also a video on how to format an MLA style paper here as well. Now then, we do have citation resources that you can use. We have the Purdue OWL. This is a good resource. You also have our APA and MLA and Chicago style guides. And then last but not least, we have our research paper review. Research paper review is the library's proofreading service. You would submit a final draft version of your paper in Microsoft Word format as an attached file. You will send it to us to teaching.learning@ctcd.edu. If you have a PowerPoint presentation or a course discussion board posting that you wish to submit for proofreading, you can do that as well. Again, it needs to be as an attached file, and it needs to be a final draft version, not rough. Please do not use a link or PDF file. Links, we need to have your username and password to open. PDF files take anywhere from 2 to 6 hours to translate from PDF format to Microsoft Word format, and then correct for formatting errors that occur in that translation. So it is always best to send us a Microsoft Word attached file. The turnaround time for our proofreading is within, for all practical purposes, 24/7, 365. What you get back from the library will be 2 proofreading reports. We run your paper through Grammarly and give you a grammar report. And then the librarian doing the proofreading will look at it for readability, flow, logic, and overall formatting, not only of the paper, but of your in text and source citations. There'll be bubble comments put in the right margin. And all you have to do is when you open your paper, click on the bubble. It will show you, it will highlight what needs to be corrected. These are suggestions, instructions, and guidance. You can either accept them or reject them as you please. But the purpose of our doing this is to help you have a better, well written paper with proper citations in there. So that concludes this seminar for Marketing 2333 Principles of Selling. There will be a slide following this slide that will have the email address that you'll need to request the post seminar survey if you are using this seminar for credit for your course. If not, then you don't have to worry about it. Otherwise, there may be on the LibGuide, there should also be the email address that you would request the post seminar survey. And thank you for attending and watching this seminar. Please remember that if you are doing the post seminar survey, your first response is what's going to be used. If you need to take the survey over again, then you will need to re-watch this video and then take the post-seminar survey a second time. If you do one and then a few minutes later do this a second time, that second score will not count. Just putting that up there in front. Okay. Enjoy your day and thank you for watching this recorded seminar for Marketing 2333.